Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the long-awaited and much overdue Call of Cthulhu. I'm Kamchak Fisko. Come join me for an H.P. Lovecraft nightmare.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely
I know.
what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here.
Welcome back. How you doing, cat?
You know
collect
each
a
other.
favor?
We met briefly. Time enough to iron out a few matters. The main thing is that we understood one another. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
Yeah,
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis'
That's
death.
fair.
Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday,
That's complicated.
I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings.
He's kind of
Please
obsessed.
forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned.
Why
You,
not?
on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
She seems concerned, but yeah, she doesn't seem overly devastated. That is very, very strange. So there were other ways we could have gotten in the warehouse without having to owe a favor to, the local mafia, basically. He died screaming right before my eyes. I was no longer there when it happened. You're taking it quite well. I kind of want to ask the third one, because Kiwi has a point. She's taking it way too well. And I don't have a high enough psychology to try to comfort her. Or no, that's not even comfort her. It's like, why don't you feel guilty about this?
I expected to find you more grief-stricken than this by the death of your husband.
I do not like the tone of your allusion, sir. I had long months to weep every tear in my body, and to accept, if not my fate, at least that of my husband.
It's been
So
a
I'm sorry
day.
to disappoint you if you're expecting more hysteria and grieving widow in my voice. Rest assured, however, my anger is real. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
I couldn't. And it's been one day. How did she have months to do this? Did she grieve him as though he was dead the second he was institutionalized? That doesn't make any sense. The true culprit is Fuller.
So ask Fuller, he's the eminent doctor. But I would caution you, you'll find his treatments more terrifying than the illnesses he sets out to cure.
That churl no longer takes the trouble to receive me. He sends his secretary to tell me that I cannot see Francis. Me. His own widow. He must think that I am a terrible wife for having abandoned him in such a way. But I only wanted what was best for him.
He
I'm
was
not
probably a
here
little
to
busy with the
condemn you,
insanity
Mrs.
shit.
Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Damn.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
She painted
Who
it.
else to paint such horrors?
Yeah.
Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Again, conversation's over. Just really bugging me. Well, this seems puzzly. You have nothing to lose. We're in a Cthulhu game. You literally have everything to lose.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Photograph Sarah Hawkins next to Sanders. They must be close. Apparently that allowed me to reconstruct shit in the room. Another medicine tome. I'm not going to bother to read this shit anymore. Okay, gas, gangrene, trench nephritis. Okay, that's just more medical shit. Yeah, which should tell us something about the city. I don't think it implies that she's in on it. Yep, that's a puzzle. It implies that she was expecting it, which means something like this has happened before, otherwise she wouldn't be expecting it. Whether it be to her husband or to others in the town.
A house of artists.
Would that be artists or would it be artisans? No, artisans are performers.
Francis
not,
Sanders and
artists.
Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
I was thinking of, not artists, but artistically inclined people, which I guess is artists. I was thinking of a different word. I don't know why my brain went to artisan. That means something completely different.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
She probably didn't want... Well, remember, her paintings are visions of the future. Maybe
He
she didn't
finally
want it
won.
let out?
Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom?
Probably not. And we don't get to see what the painting is until we go to the actual room.
Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
Possibly. Have to be just the right distance. I
She
can't get too
first
close.
refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel?
Before going examining the Shambler, I want to see if there's anything else to interact with. No. I don't know, her husband, I'm just thinking... that's what I'm thinking. Maybe an affair. No, yeah, that's when he ripped his eyeballs
The
out.
Shambler. I need to see it.
Did you not see what literally just happened in your vision, dumbass? Wow. I have no words. That is next level stupid. Hey, he looked at the painting, ripped his eyeballs out. I need to see the painting. Okay.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
All right. Audio recording Francis Sanders left for his wife Irene. Gotta find a phonograph first. Locked? Or at least, we're not allowed to go in there. I'm guessing if you opt for strength instead of the investigation, which is the lockpicking skill, you can actually bust doors open, but I'm sure that's also a price because it's not silent.
I could use one of those.
Found sleeping pills in Sanders' house. Were they prescribed to Francis Sanders or to Irene? We kept them. Huh.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
I have never heard it pronounced that way. I've always heard it pronounced Amerindian, not Amerindian. Because America, it would be Amerindian, not Amerindian. It took me a second to realize what the word was. It's like, I've seen that word before. It's where you just kind of combine them, and that's still not correct, but time period and all. But it's just like, I've never heard it pronounced that way. That was weird. The Whale and the Cod. A brief history of Darkwater. Focus on the past glory of the island. Occultism. Nice. Figured it had to be. That would not be medical. Okay, wait. We'd like learn new shit. And apparently have skill points. Okay, investigation is maxed. Now we need to work on psychology. I'm not worried about eloquence or strength on this playthrough. I'll be dumping everything else into psychology. So when it comes to clues, we will see everything, we will find everything, we will understand everything. We just won't be able to get all the information out of the people. That'll be the price we pay. So 30 and 28, that's not bad. Oh, my sanity. Wait, what's changed? We were shaken before. Okay. That's weird. Oh, I did that. Okay, we read this one before back on the other level. I don't know why it's marked as unread. He was obsessed with the Shambler. Yeah, we know that. Here we go. Dr. Fuller, 52, Riverside Senior Physician. Dr. Fuller reigns as an undisputed master of Riverside Institute and of its cellars, in which he carries out illegal experiments on his patients. I don't know what he has done to me, but I shouldn't be back on my feet so soon after my fall when the tunnels under the Hawkins mansion caved in. This man is dangerous, and I swear he'd know more about all this business than he's willing to tell. Duh. Irene Sanders, 41. It's clear that she holds Sarah Hawkins responsible for the death of her husband, but what I don't understand about Irene Sanders is the mix of sadness and insensitivity. It looks like she'd given up on her husband long before his horrid death in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. It almost seems like she treated him like he was dead once he ripped his eyeballs out. Cellars of the Riverside Institute. Strictly speaking, I didn't spend much time in the hospital. When I woke up, I was immediately transferred to the cellars of the Institute, sort of a clandestine asylum, where Dr. Fuller carried out his experiments on patients. Without being troubled, unknown machines sit beside anatomical drawings that are disturbing, to say the least. I have managed to escape from this place. I might not have had much... I can read, I swear to God. I might not have as much luck next time. That's what I meant to say. Francis likes Sarah due to her unique painting. Sarah possibly sick for her husband's drinking problems, so Sarah had an affair with her. Yeah, I'm wondering about that. Charles found out about the affair, figured out Sarah knew about the cold, went to a rage, had a fight over the affair. That's a possibility. Moved to the room where the fire happened. Just found out about the cult. Yeah, I'm wondering, because I know the cult found out about her, and they were sicking the husband after her, but that fight could have been about a whole lot of things. Starting to really, really feel the whole comment I made back in Homefront Revolutions. You all right? You look a little brain damaged. You need some help? I'm starting to feel like that. I've never been able to talk. When I started my YouTube career, 7, 8 years ago, God, I don't remember how long ago it was, I was actually very eloquent, because that's how I used to be. I was very well versed in being able to talk. And just the longer I did it, the more that skill just disintegrated. And now I'm just this gibbering mess that can occasionally sound really eloquent, but not very often. Oh, I know it's linked to the cult. I just don't know how far. That's the question. At the Sanders, cross-checking the information given by Francis Sanders and his widow, it is possible to reconstruct the events that led to the interment of Sanders. Everything points to Sanders and Sarah Hawkins being close. Yeah, it looks like it. Linked at least by the interest in the collectors showed in the artist's work, but more probably by the certain friendship, attested to by the repeated refusals of Sarah Hawkins to sell the painting called The Shambler. Against all expectations, she finally gave it away for free. That's the one she gave away for free. Feelings have been still shown by Irene Sanders towards Sarah Hawkins are evidently derived from what she considers to be the artist's responsibility. Madness struck Sanders a short while after he gained possession of the painting. I should just be a Muppet, because then at least my gibberish would make sense. Anyway. Okay, so we got the sleeping pills, which aren't even here, but the Sanders cylinder is. That's... Oh, it's a lore object. Interesting. I mean, you speculated a lot of accurate shit in both the rooms and the Sherlock Holmes. You have a better knack for piecing shit together than I do. I mean, like, I can see threads before they happen. I can usually figure out a lot of shit. But when it comes, like, whodunits, that's not my wheelhouse. I'll play them. I'll love them. I'm not going to guess the right guy with the right weapon in the right room. It's just not going to happen.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Ironic that he points it out now, and had I read that, it would have been less surprising to find that out when I was reading through my notes. But the fact that I read through my notes shows that my character already knew that, so why is he surprised by this statement now, when we already had the information that told us this? It's a personal pet peeve. It's never going to change in video games. Your character should fucking know what you have learned as a player, if it's something you learned while in their shoes. The fact that if you go out of your way to find hidden shit in a lot of, like, adventure games, then your character still acts like he doesn't know it, bugs me to no end. It's like, we went out of our way to find this shit. Why does he not get it? Dear Francis, I beg of you to give up all hope ever owning this accursed painting. Our friendship is any meaning to you. Please spare me the weight of the guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the shambler. Your friend Sarah Hawkins. She knew he would go mad. I bet you she had a vision about it. And something made him her finally just cave in. Huh.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
This volume This volume spends some time on the Reverend Wickwood's community. My wife expressed her worries about the strange dreams that the Reverend's congregation are having since the arrival on this island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared that they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe. What happened to the lost tribe? Wait, what? Who's the lost tribe? What happened to the lost tribe? What? I feel like we're missing something. No, nobody's seen it because it was edited to all hell, but if you've ever seen the raw versions, which nobody would have, of my Skyrim, oh, you see the edited version where I have the least amount of screw-ups while reading something. I screw up a whole lot more than that. Dissertation on an anatomical question. Okay, so this is just another medical book. So now we're at 30 by 30. Would I read the book? What book?
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others.
She's got
What
a
have you
point.
come looking for in this gallery?
I don't even know what the book is. Last time I chose one of these, it ended the fucking cup. Fuck it.
I'm not here to cause trouble, if that's what's worrying you.
Worry me? Don't overestimate yourself. If
More
the
like
last
annoy.
beating wasn't enough for you, I can always give it another go.
I'm good.
But as long as you keep out of my way, you're free to carry on with your visit.
Can I ask you this, or are you gonna pound my face
And
in
you?
for it?
What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
So she's
Believe it or
bolting
not,
town?
there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland.
She's really
A
be
choice
licking her
that comes
face on
down
the
to
subtitles.
Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
I would say you're more effective at getting shit accomplished. I'll give you that. Oh, I can bust this open, huh? Don't mind me, I'm just gonna steal her shit, apparently. Can I at least close the evidence? So it's not... I mean, it's not his fault I sold my soul to Cthulhu. He couldn't have known that. He just kind of stumbled in on it. So he's as innocent as you are. But welcome. Join the cult. Not my cult. I don't have a cult. The Cthulhu tentacles Cthulhu 2024! My personal thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. You all are awesome viewers. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. It means a lot to me, and I do hope you enjoy it. You all take care of yourselves. If you want to see more of me, come to the video on the list, or stay tuned for more. Feel free to leave a comment below, and please remember to click that like button if you enjoyed the video. In the meantime, fare thee well, everyone.